Guys, I love the first Anchorman movie and I'm looking forward to the second one. Through Fandango's Super Ticket, you can see the film 2 days early, as well as get a copy of Ron Burgundy, The Lost Movie, as well as a digital HD download of Anchorman 2. Check out the link below to leave your favorite Anchorman quote in the comments section to win 2 free tickets from Fandango. You know, throughout the entire runtime of this movie, I kept thinking I would love if Indiana Jones or like the Bear Jew would just come in here and rip these Nazis to pieces. The Book Thief is based off of an extremely successful novel. It's about a young girl named Liesel. Now she's just been adopted and she's living in World War II Germany. So to find some relief from this horrible thing that's going on all around her, she starts stealing books. While people everywhere around her are burning books, she figures out a way to steal them. Along with the help of her adoptive father, played by Geoffrey Rush, they learn how to read with each other, and then they use these books as a way to enrich their lives throughout this terrible, terrible time that they live in. The Book Thief is a movie that I was very interested in because my fiance loves the book, and she told me a few things about it. You know, she didn't spoil anything, but she got my interest piqued. I'm kind of a sucker for a good movie that is able to portray people who find the best way to live in a horrible time. You know, the kind of movie where everyone around is just suffering, but there's maybe 1 or 2 people that try to make the best of it. I kind of like movies like that if they're done well, and gratefully, The Book Thief was. I thought this was a very emotionally effective movie. It's not a perfect movie, it does have its flaws. This is a film that is very heartwarming, that is able to show what it's like to live in an area like this during this time, but at the same time, it also finds a way to show some humanity, which is one of the best parts about this movie, is the fact that there's this great human core to it that you can really relate to, because these characters are dealing with the worst times of their lives, and they're daily seeing these horrible atrocities happen while they're trying to survive in Germany during World War II. And they find a way to get out of that situation, at least inside their heads, and that's one of the best things about this movie, is the imaginative nature of the characters, particularly the father and the young daughter. Watching them teach each other how to read and shelter a Jew who has been fleeing from the Nazis, and the relationship that develops between that man that they're sheltering and the little girl is extremely sweet. These 2 characters need each other desperately because the little girl doesn't have her real parents anymore. Horrible things are happening all around her, and she doesn't really have too many people to relate to except a neighboring boy, her new father, and a mother who is immensely strict. So this guy that they start to shelter in the basement and her developed this great relationship that I thought was one of the strongest points of this movie. And for the large majority of this movie, I really enjoyed what I saw. It's a beautifully shot movie. The production design is also excellent. Like, I really bought the location. It really seemed like they were in World War II Germany at that time, and I loved that about this movie. The look of it is terrific. Geoffrey Rush brought such a great sense of fun to this movie because he's sort of the father who adopts this girl, and you really feel like he's the guy who understands how she feels. He understands her plight. He understands that she's in a terrible position. He is always there to try to make it fun for her. He did such a great job in this movie. Also, Ben Schnetzer plays Max, the Jew that they are sheltering in the basement. He was also really good in the movie. His character seemed very realistic. His performance did not feel fake or forced at all. The young girl who plays Liesel was also great. Really, the acting in the movie all around is really good, and that's one of the strongest parts of this movie. The acting, the look of the film, and also John Williams' excellent score. The whole movie I was like, why is this music so good? And then during the end credits it said music by John Williams. And I was like, what? He rarely ever composes for anyone other than Spielberg anymore, and I thought that his score, as usual, was beautiful. If there's one man in Hollywood who's never disappointed with anything, it's John Williams. During the third act of this movie, the movie unfortunately gets lost in some melodrama where some of the more serious and realistic elements of the first 2 acts kind of get lost in this weepy, oh, woe is me kind of finale that isn't bad. It's not bad. I know it's in the book. There were certain elements of it that were actually changed from the book from what I understand. What I'm trying to say is that there are parts of this movie that are very sentimental, and sometimes that can be really good and sometimes that can be really bad. And elements of this movie do it extremely well. But then there are certain parts of the film where you're feeling like, okay, I get that you're tugging at my heartstrings, but now this just feels fake. So besides some melodramatic elements towards the end, I really thought The Book Thief was a pretty good movie. I thought it was a very well shot looking movie as well as acted, and I'm going to give it a B. So guys, what is your favorite movie that takes place during World War II? I know there's a lot of options, but can you pick just one? As always guys, thank you very much for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.